Aloha loves, welcome. My name is Digmara and I am your host. I believe it is every woman's birthright to have financial independence and freedom. I am a self-made multimillionaire. Now I work with others to do the same. Let's get started. Aloha beautiful souls. Recently I'm seeing a lot of financial mentors, financial advisors, money mentors talking about, the current state of the market, and they're responding to it in their messaging. And I've intentionally avoided this topic, but I just finished meditating and I felt called to just come on and talk about it a little bit. And so, I've had a few people ask me, have you seen the market, or how is your portfolio doing in response to the market? And I think looking for my take on it and what my reaction to it is. And this is what I will say about it. Yes, the market is definitely responding to the political situation at hand. But I am not freaking out about it. I am choosing not to react to it. I'm choosing not to respond. Has my portfolio dipped? Yes, it has. Has my portfolio dipped significantly? Yes, it has. But let me tell you, it has not dipped as much as it did during the pandemic. And I will tell you a story about the pandemic. During the pandemic, my husband came to me and said, and he works with a lot of people who are financially certified, who are way more financially educated than he is, right? He works with a lot of people in financial departments, and they all have designations. And I remember him coming to me during the pandemic and telling me that a lot of them were liquidating their financial investments because of what was happening in the market, and should we? And for a split second, I did consider it. And then I had to, meditate on it, check in with myself, and realize that that was not the right thing to do. It really wasn't the right thing to do. And I'm so glad that we didn't, because at the time, our portfolio dipped significantly. We're talking 6 figures. But guess what? It has since recovered and then some. Okay. So really, as I sat with myself, and again, as I sit with myself now, and it's not that I take these decisions lightly. It's not that, I dismiss it, especially when I know that someone with such, financial credentials is doing something like that. Of course, it's a time to reflect and to not think that I have all the answers, right? So, but what I will tell you is that the markets are cyclical, right? And that it does have this, the market does ebb and flow, right? It will dip and then it will rise. It will dip and it will rise. And at times like that, when I look at my portfolio and I'm tempted to sell because of something like that, what I do is I zoom out. So that's kind of my advice to you, is if you're looking at your portfolio and you're thinking, should I sell? Please do your own research, right? Make sure you run it through your own internal compass. If you have a financial advisor you're working with, talk to them, see what they say. But what my advice to you is, before you do anything rash, zoom out and look at how has the market performed over a longer period of time, right? Because if you're looking at the performance of a specific investment that you're holding and you zoom in, what you will see is maybe where you're at is you're seeing a big dip, right? Or maybe it's really volatile and you're like, my nervous system just can't handle it. If that's the case with you, I say zoom out and look at the overall, performance of the stock over its lifetime, or the, the index fund you're holding, or whatever investment you're holding. Look at it over the entire life of that investment. And chances are what you will find is, yes, zooming in, it looks like this, but as you zoom out, what will you see? You'll see, hopefully, overall upward growth. Okay. And what I say during periods like this, instead of freaking out and allowing our systems to, our nervous system to dysregulate, for us to just really be engulfed in fear, what I say is, perhaps this is the time to go shopping. That's how I choose to, look at this is, I'm always available for a good deal. And instead what I do is, this is the time when I buy additional stock. This is the time that I buy additional investment, like index funds, right? Or other investments that you like to invest in. So I hope that you find that somewhat reassuring that instead of, as I said, allowing fear to take over, instead you use this as an opportunity to get some really good deals and, buy those stocks that you thought that you were never going to be in a position to be able to hold, or buy more stock of the one that you already have, or buy more index funds of ones that you already hold. So I love you. And, well, I guess the last thing I will say is that I hope that if you haven't done so already, you check out my offers, because I love my offers. I love, and I also love my, my podcast and my YouTube channel. I listen to my podcast channel regularly. Why? Because the messages that when I put up a podcast, when I put up an episode, the information's actually channeled. So it comes through me. And I love going back and listening to it and saying, oh, I didn't realize I even said that, or, oh, that's really useful, because that advice is for me as well. And then as far as my offers are concerned, my free offer is the money date. So that's a really good one. I really like that one. A lot of people are recently signing up for that one. And then my other two offers are I have the Anchoring Into Your Wealth is my big group program, and that one is just packed with a lot of potency and value. So check that one out. And then my two mentorship offers are either my long-term mentorship situation, which means that we dive deep into your finances, and I work with you to completely transform your financial landscape. And in a situation like that, we typically meet anywhere from 1 to 4 times a month. Really, it depends on what you're working on, what your goals are, what your intentions are, and how urgent some of the things that we need to work on are. If you have taxes that need to be filed, if you have back taxes that need to be done, some of my clients, when they first come to work with me, they might not have filed their taxes, their personal taxes or their business taxes, for a few years. So that's, a lot more urgent, and we want to clean that up. Or maybe they discovered they're actually subject to filing sales tax and they never have, so we need to get that done. And then we don't meet as regularly once kind of everything is stabilized. There's typically like a cleanup, organization, calibration period where we align our energies and we clean things up if they need to be. And then we just kind of cruise from there, and I support them in their other bigger goals. We don't stop at the cleanup phase. We move on to financial independence and freedom, and I built a roadmap for you with specific tasks and to-dos, and I support you as you move towards that. I did it for myself. I always talk about that. I feel like I sound like a broken record at this point. I did it for myself and my husband, and I'm helping my children with theirs and my clients with theirs. So there's that. But if you're not in a position to invest in that at this point, then the other offer that I have currently is that for new clients, I'm offering like a 2-hour one-on-one private session that is a financial activation. And you can use that as like a money date kickoff if you are not quite sure how to run a money date, or you do, but it just feels like you're working in a silo and you wish that you just had a little bit more support or a little bit more activation, or you feel like maybe you're wobbling in that process and you just want someone to just like lovingly hold you in that, then I would love to do that with you. I feel like I'm your girl. So message me and let's see what we can do. And the other, you know, I call it like a financial clarity session, and that's another type of session that we can have. We can meet and we can either talk about your present financial situation or your past or your future of where you're going. And again, that's a 2-hour one-on-one. And I love, you know, the potency of that container. I love meeting with women one-on-one, and I don't feel like it really needs to be said, but I will say it anyway in case it does, is that, and this is something that my clients have reflected back to me of what they really appreciate about my containers, is that there is zero shame, like zero shame. Okay. And there is for anything for your financial situation. Like I've seen quite a bit, and my clients tell me after the fact that they're so grateful that they could come to me with like, anything that they come to me with, whether it's a lot of debt or whether it's just like very disorganized finances that they don't even know where to start. I'm just really good at organizing, and I really don't care. Like it doesn't even cross my mind to make anybody feel shameful about anything as far as their finances are concerned. And also, you cannot come to me and don't come to, how do I want to put it? Don't feel like you can't come to me because perhaps you're embarrassed about like a lack of proficiency in math, that maybe your skill level with math is not where you wish it was. I will say two things about that. One, I used to tutor kids in math, and two, I homeschooled all 3 of my kids through from K to grade 6, and then the school takes over, and the school through like an online hybrid program homeschooled them from grade 7 to 12, but I was the parent at home seeing them through it. And why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because I literally have experience over and over again teaching my children and teaching other students math from the ground up, like pre-K all the way up. And so I've seen it all. And literally I meet you where you're at and I move the needle forward for you, right? And there is zero shame in whatever math level you're at. There's zero shame in not being further ahead, because I feel like a lot of that responsibility was way more so on the adults in the room than you. It was like on your parents, or it was especially on the teachers. And not to, you know, shame the teachers either, but I'm saying there really is zero shame in you. So I hope the message is landing for you. If shame or feeling like you're just not at a point where we could meet is the reason why you're not reaching out, then like, let's just please stop that right now. Reach out. Schedule a session. Let's get started. You will be amazed at how much we can move the needle forward in just one session. So DM me if you're interested. DM me, you know, financial clarity session or money kickoff or long-term mentorship, or go check out my programs either at the link here in my bio or on my website at www.thrivs.com. I love you. Aloha. Bye.